Hey everyone, Jamie here from TechnicalCafe.com, and in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about associative arrays in PHP. And an associative array is pretty similar to an indexed array, in that it essentially allows us to store multiple values within the same variable. However, there are a few differences as well. With an associative array, actually, what we're going to be doing is storing keys and values associated with them. So an example for this might be like a small dictionary where you have a word as the key, and then the definition would be the value associated with that. So let's take a look at an example that we have here. So let's go ahead and jump into index.php, where we just have our PHP boilerplate here. And what we're going to do is create a variable called ages. So in this example, we're basically going to create an associative array to store people's names and then what age they are. So we're going to say ages equals array, and we're going to use the array construct in PHP. And we're just going to add some names and the ages associated with these people. So let's say, for example, John. And John is going to be considered the key in this situation. And then to demonstrate the value that is associated with John, what we're going to do is use an arrow. So we're going to create this arrow using an equal sign and a right pointing arrow. And we're just going to assign him a number. So let's say John is equal to 21. And then we're just going to do a couple more of these. So Sharon is 33, let's say. Mike, let's say, is 42. And then let's say Linda is 19. And let's go one more and say Bruce is 45. And we're just going to terminate our statement there. So this is an associative array stored in the ages variable here. And what it is saying is that this key here, John, is associated with this value here, 21. And it doesn't have to be an integer. We can use a string if we want, or other data types as well. But basically, whatever is to the left is the key, whatever is to the right is the value, and as long as there's this sign between them, they're considered a pair. So let's go ahead and learn the other way to create an associative array. Just like with an indexed array, we can actually assign values like this. So we can say ages, and then we can put in the key here. So for example, we could say John, and then what we can do is just assign a value to this key. So for example, 21. And this is basically the same thing as doing this. So let's just delete this here. And now let's learn how to print the values and access the values that are stored within an associative array. So let's say we wanted to echo out the value of John to our screen. So what we can't do is just say echo ages and 0 like you would with an indexed array, even though John is technically in the first spot or first index. So let's take a look at what happens if we were to jump over here to Chrome and try to run this. So you'll notice that we get an error called undefined offset 0 in, and then it just tells you the name of the file and the line. If we jump back over here to Adam, we're going to learn that the way we can access the value associated with John's key is by doing this. So we can say echo ages, and then we're going to echo essentially what is the value associated with the key John. So if we were to save this and jump over to Chrome and now refresh it, you'll see that we get John's age of 21. So let's say we wanted to echo out the whatever Linda's age is here. So all we would do is just jump over here and just put in Linda's name. And once we refresh, we'll see that we have 19, which is Linda's age. One thing to note is that we can't actually reverse this. So if we were to say age 19 and try to figure out what key was associated with the value, if we come over here and refresh, you'll notice that we get an error and also an undefined offset error. And I believe the reason for this may be that different keys can have the same value associated with it. So if you have 3 people that are the same age, it's not going to know which key to return. So let's go ahead and just learn a quick way to echo out all of these values if we wanted to access and print them to the screen, or maybe if we wanted to manipulate them in some way. And what we can do, similar to with an indexed array, is use a loop. So what we're going to do is use what's called a for each loop. So we're going to say for each, and then we're going to say ages. So we're going to reference the array name here. So for each ages, and then we're going to say as, and then we're going to create another variable. And we're going to essentially reference each key in ages as something else. So we're going to say for each ages as person. So what we're going to do is this is going to be the key. So it's going to be John, Sharon, Mike, Linda, and Bruce. And then what we're going to say is points to the value. and we're just going to give this value another name. So we can say, for example, persons underscore age. So it might look a little confusing, but once the loop runs, hopefully it's a little bit more clear. So what we're going to do is say echo, and we're going to say name, or actually we're going to say person, because we're going to reference their name here, which is the key. And then we're going to say, we're going to concatenate on a string, so we'll say is. And then what we're going to do here is just concatenate on their age. So we'll say person's age. And what we should get here is the person's name and age. And we're just going to also add on a line break here as well. So let's jump back over to Chrome and refresh this and see what we get. All right, so we get John is 21, Sharon's 33, and then the rest of the key and value pairs here as well. And again, this is because what we're doing is looping through the ages array, and for each key value pair in the array, we're going to print out the key, and we can call this whatever we'd like, and then we're going to print out the value associated with that key. And again, we can call it whatever we'd like. So basically, key, value, in the name of the array. And then what we did was we just echoed out the person's name or the key, and then we just added in some text here in a string so that we could create a sentence, and then we echoed out the value, which is their age. So feel free to play around with this. Associative arrays can be useful for a number of different things. This is kind of a trivial example, but again, play around with it. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the comments section below. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.